Hi everyone, this is Terry, and you're listening to Insight with Terri Ep. Thank you for joining me to explore together the week of October the 13th through the 19th, 2024. Just a quick synopsis. We're still in Libra in the sun sign, which still puts pressure on us to possibly spend a little more than we have, want something that's a little upgraded when we could do with a little bit less. So that want, that need, or think we need, is still very, very prevalent. So with that, just be second guessing yourself a little bit with your purchases. Doesn't mean that you're going to purchase bad necessarily, but just know where it's coming from. Now, the Libra energy in Mercury, which is the power of the mind, how we think, how we communicate, that is moving from Libra into Scorpio, and that will be on the 14th of this week. Now, where does that take us? Scorpio is a deep, complicated type of energy field. So it's not what's on the surface, it's what's underneath the surface that is more, I would say, viable, more complicated too. So in this next little bit, we are given the opportunity to think deep, to dive deep, to not be afraid of the truth of the situation and look at it realistically and possibly come up with a solution, because we're finally able and maybe willing to look at a problem as opposed to running away from it or trying to smooth it over or just fix it up on the outside, not the inside. Now, that can also be difficult for relationships. If relationships are struggling at all during this time, because it's also in Venus, which is the planet of relationships, that Scorpio energy can make us not satisfied with what we have right now, necessarily wanting to look at it deep down, not pretend it's okay, but really look at it. Is this really okay? Is this bothering me? Is this bothering somebody else? Why am I in this position? Be it a relationship, be it work, be it the people that you have to share your day with. All of that will need and scream really for a deep dive from most of us. Now, that can make us happy or sad, depends on your situation. So you may have to look at making some changes, because everything that's been accumulating for us in the last little bit has been all about maybe making us more willing to entertain changes or to look at them in a different creative vein. And then Mars, the planet of our drive, our passion, that's still in Cancer. That's been in Cancer for a while. So the drive, the passion, the need will be, I would say, love, but a good love, a loyal love. Now, that doesn't just mean boy-girl relationship. It means we'll want to love and we'll want to be loved. So that will be a kind of a call of the wild for us, wanting to be in a significant relationship that is kind of television type of relationship. So just make sure you're being realistic. Now, Scorpio in Mercury and in Venus should put enough pressure on us to be realistic in this type of an atmosphere. So I wouldn't be too afraid of it not being something that we've already taken a deep dive, but it bears saying. It bears saying. Then the number that was given to us for this week is the number 4, and that is all about perseverance and looking at what we have to do and being very systematic about it, being able to put it into a category that we can attack it from a certain angle. And I'm going to compare it to putting something together. Everything comes in boxes now. So birdcage came in a box instead of all put together. And you can't find, well, it's more difficult to find somebody that will put things together. Now, to just like throw pieces all over would not be systematic. What I try to do is read the directions before I even open the box seriously. And so that I'm familiar with the outside look, the inside look, everything. I feel more familiar. I might have to read them a couple of times, even for the new vacuum cleaner that I got. Now, with that, once you've read the directions a few times, you feel like you have a sense of what's going on. Then the quick start, and then a systematic approach. All the pieces go on the floor, marked A, B, C, D. Your directions are there. If there's any bobble, that's what YouTube is all about. So that is a really systematic approach, and I think sometimes it works out better, whereas some of us will just throw it together and have to take it apart, stripping screws. We really do need to look at how can I approach this from something that lacks chaos. And number 4, paired with where the planets are right now, wants consistency and order. That would be really important. So chaos won't be your friend. Some people thrive in chaos or work better when they're pushed. This isn't the kind of energy that feels good that way. It would be more of an energy that we don't want chaos. We need to look at how can we smooth this out so that it's not as challenging. Now, number 4 allows us to achieve success, but more driven towards later in the situations that we're in or later in life by working hard just to teach us, to learn that trying to take the easy road and skip corners and not do the work doesn't get us as far as it would if we put the work in. I've seen it so much in dog training. Instead of taking the 5 or the 10 minutes to train their dogs every day, in not even 10 minutes, let's say 2 to 5 minutes, you end up with these 2 to 5 minutes a day, that's all, with a dog at the end of a couple weeks that has a sense of what you want. And I'll see other people that come to their weekly class, they haven't done anything all week. And then they get mad at the dog. Stupid dog. Stupid dog. What's the matter with this dog? I can clearly see you didn't put the work in. You didn't teach the dog. You think the dog's supposed to psychically know this. So this, again, is about working hard, putting the work in. And it's clear when you go to the dog show who's put the work in and who hasn't. Now here, patience is going to be very important. So we need to be practical, and Scorpio is going to help us do that with number 4. We need to be a little bit on the conservative side. We are not going to be thrilled about changes, and we won't like a monotonous life either. So there we are, caught right in dead center in the middle of this. So then you have to decide with your own personality, your own situations, your own life, which side of the scale do I want to be on? The one that doesn't want changes and wants it smooth and no issues, or the one that doesn't want it monotonous, but can live within a certain amount of chaos, even though this week isn't one that likes that. There's going to be a wave of, I'm going to say resource, which allows us to feel a little bit more physically strong than normal. Number 4 pairs with that. So that means that maybe our endurance might be a little bit better. We might feel a little bit more like getting out there and moving around. And we may prefer activities where we can use our physical strength and maybe achieve some dexterity along with that. So, hardworking, strength, dexterity, all of that's coming our way with where the planets are this week. The weakness, there's always a weakness to everything, could be carelessness, so be careful of that, and feeding into a narrow view of life. That's what those algorithms do to us. They just let us see, or help us to just see one side. This is suggesting that we need to be careful when we're making decisions, because we're not looking at the big picture. And what we are experiencing shouldn't be turned inward it could affect our nervous system, especially with that Gemini energy coming towards the end of the week. And Gemini is known for vulnerability in the nervous system. And we are going to have some energy with that energy field that's going through that allows us the strength that we want to watch, because that's going to need release, and that can be constructive or not constructive because it's accumulated energy. Now, where are we going to direct it? How are we going to use it? And we have to work on our confidence. Confidence is going to be something that we're going to need to pay attention to in this next little bit. Now, I did pull some cards. Some of the cards that came up, a number of them, are soul related. And when that occurs, it usually will indicate to me anyway that we're working with a deeper type of energy field. We're working with a big impact in our lives. So one of the first ones is suggesting that when we look at the challenges this week, instead of looking at it, oh gosh, look at this again, look at it more as it's an opportunity to learn something, an exciting challenge. And it is an exciting challenge if we look at it from a different perspective. There could be some external conflicts, so the energy field that's around us a bit this week, the number 5, is struggle. So we could be more prone to having to struggle a little bit. Work at not getting into the conflict, but working with the conflict, not struggling where we're working against the stream, but we are struggling to work with that energy. That chaos won't be our friend. And some competition. So if you feel that you're competing with somebody at work for attention or looking good, or just in your daily life, even the kids can maybe feel sibling rivalry during this time. Just be aware of it. Because that has come up, I will be more attentive to the energy that my dogs are expressing, because this could be where the rivalry starts. You could get into resource guarding or fighting. Even my parrots could maybe take issue with one of the other parrots when they didn't before, just because mom's paying attention to one and not the other, or that one got a sunflower seed and I didn't. And then a fight can break out. Now that's concerning to me, not just for my dogs and my parrots and my birds, but for the world. This is the whole world, and we're already teetering in the Middle East. So this struggle, this rivalry, this conflict kind of energy won't be a friend. So let's maybe get together with the collective consciousness and see if we can tamp it down just a little bit. This energy field that we have can be channeled to sports, to, as I said with number 4 with the planets, physical energy, and that's being supported by the cards as well. Any active games that you want to play, just being one of the guys, right? Just sparring and working things out. The next one is that maybe we aren't planning, and again, it's a soul card, as well as we could or we should, and that could be coming from maybe not knowing what we want or where we need to go. We can't plan if we're not a little certain of what we want. How do you plan if you don't know what you want? So I think that's the first stage, is what are we attracted to? What's drawing us right now? What changes do we need to make in our thinking, in our life? The storms are making people make changes. Even if you're not affected by the storm, and you look at what other people are going through, maybe trips down to Florida in the wintertime might not be as attractive as they were when I was younger and my parents were doing it. So changes here in our thinking, in how we approach things, and we have to plan. So they're really asking us to sit down with ourselves for a little bit, plan your day, plan your morning, plan your week, plan your month, and maybe make some extended plans. It's not the best time for having them happen, but it is a good time for putting it on paper and putting some energy into it. Then the next card that's pulled after we decide to do some planning is the Fool, which is 0, the seed, brand new beginnings. So we're being offered a reset. Maybe if we take it, maybe looking at things and how can I take my first step? How do I back up and take another step in a different direction? So it's a reset. 0 is brand new beginnings, and that's what they're offering us. And that's a good thing, to kind of look at things with fresh eyes. I will do that with the house. You get used to things. You just get used to looking at the barn. You get used to looking at the garage, the house. Every once in a while, I'll grab a cup of coffee, and I try to pretend I'm new to the place. I've just walked in. What do I see? And holy cow. Holy cow. So it gives me a list of things that I need to do to straighten up, to maybe scrape the duck poop off the cement. You just walk past it and you don't see it. Sweep the cobwebs from the porch, get things kind of in order. It'll make you feel better. It'll open up your space. You'll feel a little bit less restricted with that. So that's basically what we have in a nutshell. The vulnerabilities of our body in this week will start at the beginning of the week at the feet, our toes, our feet. That can be a very sensitive area if you're vulnerable in that, and some people are. And then through the week, it moves, it jumps right to the head. It goes right from the feet to the head. So if you tend to have migraines or any teeth problems or tongue problems, your arteries, this is where you're going to be very vulnerable towards the middle of the week. And then again, that starts to move down, creep down a little bit to the neck, the vocal cords, thyroid, if you have any issues there. And then your lungs, your bronchial tubes. I can already feel it coming. I'm about a week ahead of most of the energy pressures, and I can feel the lungs acting up. And just on that note, I take advantage of essential oils, and when the lungs start to fill up a little bit, I will do a mist of eucalyptus in the essential oil, and it usually fixes it up within just a couple of hours. So if any of the kids or any of the animals are having upper respiratory, there's always solutions in nature. If we can spend the hard work to learn it or know somebody that knows it, it's a valuable asset, nature. So again, I would like to thank Charlie for doing all of this for us. He's got us on Spotify, Charlie O'Brien, on Apple iTunes, on Amazon, on SoundCloud, YouTube, and he sends me the link when he's got that done, and I put that up on Facebook from YouTube. So thank you again very much for spending time with me to explore this week, and thank you for Charlie for making the website www.terriworld.com and putting 4 or 5 of the archived podcasts up there for anybody that's missed it or just wants to go over it, and doing all that work for us. Thanks, Charlie O'Brien. I really appreciate it. And all of you for listening. You have a great week. If you need me for any dog training or parrot training or help with your horses or yourself, don't be afraid to call or text 519-726-6699, or you can email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com. I'd be happy to work with you one-on-one. This is just general, so it's general for me is never satisfying. I like to really get into the nitty-gritty. So let me help explore your life and see where you need to go. Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful week and happy Thanksgiving. I hope you all enjoy each other's company. You have something planned where you can enjoy some good food and just really be grateful for all that we have. Thanks again.